My name's Catherine Asaro. I write a range of books from romantic science fiction to fantasy romance for Luna. I also write near-future thrillers and sort of military science fiction, and a lot of political intrigue and space adventure. There are a lot of differences between science fiction and fantasy. That's probably the two biggest distinctions in that genre. Fantasy draws more on the mythologies of the human race, on magic, on anything from standard known mythologies like the Greek gods and goddesses to mythologies an author may make up. But the idea is that it's magic rather than scientific causes for the unusual things that go on. And I think it's people tend to think of it as a more emotion-based genre. I'm not convinced that's true, but that's generally how it's perceived. Science fiction, on the other hand, is an extrapolation of what we already know. You know, the physics, the math, the chemistry that we already know. We say, okay, supposing we could extrapolate this more into the future, what would happen? So the idea is that one is based in known things that actually happen, and the other is based in more folk and lore type of things. I didn't even realize I was putting science into my novels when I started writing, until my editor said, oh, this is really good. We don't have hard science fiction. I said, what's hard science fiction? You know, my mind was conjuring up other meanings for that. But he said, you know, science fiction based in very carefully thought through scientific fact. I said, oh, am I doing that? And he said, yes. Because I was working on my doctorate in theoretical physics at the time, so I don't even think about putting that in. Even when I write fantasy, it creeps in, because the fantasy system of my Luna books is based on geometrical shapes in the electromagnetic spectrum. You know, I talk about the shapes and the colors. I don't talk about the science in those books, but it all comes from the same place. But one thing I've tried to do, especially as I get better at writing, is make it accessible to the general reader. If I have a lot of scientific information, I won't put it in the actual text. I'll write an essay in the back. So if you like the science, you can go in the back of the book and read it. But if you'd rather not have that, it won't slow down the plot for the reader.